All right, Michael, we have breaking news just in the last 20 minutes. And emphasis on breaking because this might be the thing that breaks this cycle. We didn't talk about this much yesterday because we were responding to the conference championship games. Obviously, Brady retired today. But there are still 5, I believe, head coaching vacancies. 4 have been filled. Still interviews ongoing. So still hope that by the end of this cycle, there will be more than one black NFL head coach. There have been 2 black general managers hired, I beg your pardon, out of the 3 general manager vacancies. But so far, no black coaches hired. Still Mike Tomlin is the only black coach. As a matter of fact, Mike, in the last 3 coaching cycles, there have been 27 openings and 3 black coaches hired, which brings us to today.
Yeah. What happened to them?
Which brings up, well, one of them is filing a class action lawsuit. Brian Flores is filing a class action lawsuit against the National Football League and each of its franchises for racial discrimination. The lawsuit says, in part, Mr. Flores has determined that the only way to effectuate real change is through the courts, where the NFL's conduct can be judged by a jury of Mr. Flores' peers, a judgment that is long overdue. Some of the things that are trickling out, and we're reacting to this in real time, people. Some of the things that are trickling out are explosive. Texts allegedly from Bill Belichick, that Belichick tells his former assistant Brian Flores that the Giants are hiring Brian Daboll 3 days before Flores was scheduled to interview with the Giants. There's another allegation that before getting the Dolphins job, Flores interviewed with the Broncos, a meeting for which then general manager John Elway was an hour late and appeared to be hungover. Flores claims that he was only interviewed for that job because of the Rooney Rule, which came about, as you'll recall, through the threat of litigation. And there's another allegation, and I'm sure there are many once we get a chance to actually read through the lawsuit, but another allegation that the reason why he was dismissed from the Dolphins is he did not cooperate with the directive to tank in 2019, and that Stephen Ross offered to pay him 6 figures per loss. I'll keep reading and let you talk, but I'll start by saying bravo, Brian Flores. He knows that he knows he's taking one for the team here. He knows that this is bigger than him. He actually has a statement that I could read for you real quick before you get started. He says, in making the decision to file the class action complaint today, I understand that I may be risking coaching the game that I love and that has done so much for my family and me. My sincere hope is that by standing up against systemic racism in the NFL, others will join me to ensure that positive change is made for generations to come. Your thoughts?
Hey, listen, man, I'm so glad to, I'm so glad to be having these conversations with you. I know we say that every now and then, and we say it in different scenarios. Sometimes, if it's a player that we both like, a subject, we both nerd out on the draft and things like that. But I'm glad to have this conversation with you because as people know, people who have followed us know, our relationship, your relationship, our relationship goes much deeper than this show. So I was just talking to you earlier today. Earlier today about Black History Month and Malcolm X and how I was reading this great book, The Dead Are Rising. It came out last year. I was reading this book on Malcolm X and how I went back and listened to The Ballot or the Bullet again, Malcolm's eloquent, prophetic speech, one of the great speeches of the 20th century. And look at my feed, Mike. Before I had that conversation with you, I had in my feed, at the very bottom, I have Lift Every Voice, which, as you know, is the Black National Anthem. But I said, but double entendre, lift every voice in this situation. Lift your voice this month, because there's so many things going on that need to be called out, that need to be defined, that need to be exposed. That's what I was talking about, inspired by Malcolm X, inspired by Martin Luther King. These brothers were 39 years old when they lost their lives. And think about all the things they accomplished and how the courage they both showed to speak about some of the ills in society. Brian Flores is 40 years old, and as he said in that statement, when you call out injustice, when you call out bias, and people don't want to be called out, they don't want to be made uncomfortable, it's a sacrifice, and it probably will cost you a head coaching opportunity. But it needed to be done, and he did it. I feel I'm proud of Brian Flores for doing this, but I'm sick that it has come to this, that this is necessary to, I guess, hopefully take us to another level when it comes to NFL owners, NFL general managers looking at coaches, players, general managers, or potential general managers like Brian Flores with some humanity and with some fairness. This has been on my mind, man. This has been on my mind for a long time.
So this idea that this could cost him his career, if it does, if he is Kaepernicked, if he is Eric Reeded, if you will,
yeah,
that would only serve to confirm what a good old boys, racist club NFL ownership is. So if the first law of nature is self-preservation, it would behoove the NFL to not, for lack of a better phrase, blackball, or more specifically whiteball, Brian Flores from future employment, given his track record, because all that would do is prove the point. That's the first thing. So this idea that this could cost him his job, that's how we have been conditioned to operate for years. And when I say years, I mean centuries. You know, that if you rock the boat, you risk losing it all. So this is no small step. This is no small sacrifice for Brian Flores, because the easy thing would have been to go along to get along.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.